Gabrielle Carolina from the Mod Podge Bookshelf, and it's Saturday. Welcome back to Totally Booksessed. So this week on Totally Booksessed, we are talking about our New Year's resolutions. This vlog is taking a lot more thought because, of course, you can do something that's funny, and I'm dearly hoping that one of the girls does something really funny. I'm usually the silly one. I think I'm kind of giving that illusion, and I'm gonna be serious on you guys. Cracking down. I'm not very good at resolutions. They're so much of a niche and not so much of a theme. As a writer, theme is really, really important. Theme is one of those things that holds an entire cast of characters together. If you don't have a common theme, eventually they're just going to be too divergent and disintegrate, and your story won't get told properly. So what is the theme of 2012, you ask? Live fearlessly. Now, there are a few parts of my life. There is writing, reading, blogging and vlogging, and life in general. I found a way to kind of make all of this thematically integrate. For reading, I have a problem with reading sometimes, and this can kind of melt into the blogging aspect that I let it overwhelm me. Just like someone who would rather watch movies than anything else if they're kind of like relaxer or their thing that they use to procrastinate, I read. I will just pick up book after book after book after book. I use it as my way to escape anxiety over doing other things, but I also can get anxious about it because you have, as a blogger, arcs, finished copies, and your own books for review. With arcs, you have a set time in which you're supposed to read them by, and a lot of times you are participating in blog tours or special promotion for that upcoming title. If you get a finished copy for review, sometimes you can forget that someone sent that to you, and you'll treat it just like a book that you bought yourself. And books you bought yourself, though you say with that purchase, I want to read you more than anything, they're the last thing you tend to read. I'm going to be fearless because I'm eliminating the anxiety factor. I'm telling myself, you don't have to worry about it. 1. I am planning to read 10 books a month. My average for this past year was about 14 books a month. 1 month, I will read 10 arcs. The next month, I'll read 10 books from my bookshelves that I meant to read before now. I'll switch over month to month. With this system in place, I no longer have to fear that I'm not doing enough of one or the other, because that's just the way it is going to be for me. That's just how I'm setting down the law. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can for the book sent for me, but I also want to be able to enjoy it myself and not use it as a tool to procrastinate from doing all these other things. Writing is just, in general, be fearless. I think it's one of those things that probably will be a resolution for the rest of my life, is resolve to be fearless in your writing. For me, this coming year means be fearless when querying, because that's what's next. And I have so many good reasons as to why I shouldn't query my books right now. But at the same time, I'm just have normal fears and qualms about querying. Also, I don't want to write summaries. Insofar as blogging and vlogging go, in the same vein as reading, I'm just setting myself free. At the same time, I'm creating a schedule so that I know what to do to escape from anxiety. Not box yourself in, where if you don't stick to that, you're somehow failing yourself. Fearlessly balancing. And I'm trying to shift my blog a little bit at a time from a review blog to a blog about books and authors and stories and writing in general, because I feel that that's where I'm going. I'm really hoping that y'all could be reading my books within a matter of years. I need to make that transition, and I also want to make that transition because at some point you just have to stop reviewing books and just start writing them. I've reached that point, and I love reviewing books, and I'm going to continue to talk about my favorites, but it takes a lot of energy and thought and all of that to write reviews that really show what you're trying to say. That can drain from your writing. Now we hit the one that is either going to be the easiest to explain or the hardest. Let me just begin this section of the vlog by saying that I've had a really tough couple of years. This past year in particular was really hard. I'm not sad at all to see it go and to be able to actually have some claim on things starting fresh. I've been dealing with some anxiety and some depression and a lot of fear from that. After you find yourself on the other side of mountains or cliffs or hills or however you see it, you're left with a lot of fears because you're worried about setting off the booby traps of life that will put you back there, and you're also worried that you're either one, too jaded from what has happened, or two, you've not learned enough. I think I was under the impression I should be very, very jaded. That's just not good for you. I want to be fearless in this coming year because that is something that I feel I lack, the ability to choose the fearless thing. You're at a divergent path. I keep saying the word divergent because all I'm thinking about right now is Tris and Veronica Roth. And in fact, right now, so I don't forget, I'm going to quote Veronica. In her interview for the Goodreads Choice Award when she won, she talked about how when she was 16, she would have chosen the faction Candor because at that time in her life, she didn't really trust very much, and she thought that seeing the world in black and white may make living easiest for her. But now, as she's gotten older, she would choose Dauntless because she wants to live fearlessly. Now, that's not a direct quote. If you follow my blog, I always put these videos up, and so I'll put it down below so you can read exactly what she said because it's absolutely brilliant. I feel a sense of camaraderie with her in that because I too would have once chosen Candor for the exact same reason, and now I feel the need to be dauntless. I'm going to look at every choice I make and say which is the fearless path. Too often, I think we blanket answer in our jadedness or our fear or our pain. See, we group things too often, and though they do look similar, they're very dissimilar. You can make a decision for one reason that you kind of apply to all similar quandaries that is the wrong decision because it either leaves you more jaded or in more pain, and if you had just chosen the fearless thing, you would have been stronger for it. Certain fearless things I look forward to accomplishing: feeling better about myself, taking better care of my body, not allowing myself to shut away from the world and friends and people in general, sharing more because that is one thing a writer really has to learn is how to bleed at their typewriter. Although I think I've done a pretty good job of that, especially for the latest book. Fearlessness of then allowing people to read it, and there are certain people who have asked to read it who I can't really talk about, but I'm very excited about. Having them enter this world will be a fearless thing. I want to spend the rest of my life acting. No, that's not right. I want to spend the rest of my life being fearless, not acting fearless. I don't want to jump off cliffs, and I don't want to punch people in the face. And as Tris learned, those things don't necessarily make you dauntless. I want to discover what fearlessness looks like in my life because I think I've just been a little too afraid of my own shadow for a while, a little too afraid of ending up back in bad places. As long as I keep choosing the fearless road, it will lead me further and further away from the place I once was. That is my deep, heartfelt, meaningful, gut-wrenching vlog for you. I will be silly next week. I promise. It'll be a resolution. I do want to say that I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas and are planning to have a wonderful New Year. I know that for some of you, maybe you're not quite at that place where you're over that hill or that mountain or through that really dark valley. I just want to let you know I've been there very recently, and I hope that you make a resolution that will help you to find your way out. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes time is the thing that comes between you and your best intentions. I'm not going to tell you to live every day to the fullest. I'm not going to tell you that it's all in your own hands, your own happiness. I highly don't believe in that. I think that time does get in the way, and sometimes you have to wait it out, but I pray that you will all be strong and smart and find beauty in the small things in 2012. See you then. Take me out of take me out of you, be the light in the